Hello and welcome, my Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Welcome to your timeless soulmate read, though being recorded in November 2020. I'm your reader, Angelo, lYONS, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive president of Drawing the Circle Productions, friend to many, an Aquarian, hanging out with one tonight. The Archangel of Lions, Angelo Lions, but you can call me Mal. Hello, my friends. Friendliest sign of the zodiac, right? The humanitarians, that 11th house interconnectivity of it all. Welcome, 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 my subscribers. Welcome back. Thank you so much for your love and support. Truly, truly grateful that my numbers keep steadily climbing, getting closer and closer to 2,000, but as many of you know, my goal is 30,000 so that I can have the membership thing, right? The join button, because I'm doing more and more extended reads, but I have to put them over on Vimeo, which I will always do. I love Vimeo.com. No shade thrown on them. I've had them for 4 years or so. I adore them. I've made some decent money there, gotta say, with the teaching stuff, but with the readings, it's a whole new game. So I'd be able, with the membership here on YouTube, be able to put all of the extendeds here, and rather than pay-per-view over on Vimeo, you'd pay one price and get to see all of the membership content. That being said, let's get down to work, shall we? We are looking at a soul contract read. We're going to have Divine Feminine on this side, Divine Masculine on this side, and a center lane defining the contract as is, which of course is going to integrate both of them. Has nothing to do with bodily gender. I myself consider myself a Divine Feminine when I work, but in sex and romance, I'm Divine Masculine. It's just how it plays out that way. This is a soulmate contract read, not a twin flame contract read. They're not the same thing. There are links in the description box. A bunch done by me, one done by Matt Kahn, spiritual teacher, YouTuber. I mean, his YouTube channel is amazing. Matt Kahn, All for Love. Hay House author. That's the one that turned it all around for me. I mention it in the other videos, so go check it out. What we're looking at here, though, for a soulmate, you have tons of soulmate contracts in every life. They're not all sexual romantic. The ones we are looking at in this reading are, but the bottom line of a soulmate contract is you help each other heal. My mother and I are soulmate contracts, still are. I mean, in the womb, when I write the autobiography of my birth, there's stuff around my birth that's just very interesting. I was born on a full moon, so why not come in with an entrance, right? So you sort of get where I'm going with this. So this is a general read. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You're going to get 12 cards in YouTube land, although a 13th will be on the table. That will be the first one we turn over in the extended, but it will be in the preview at the very end of this video. Got it? Is there anything else I need to cover here, right? Check your other signs. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Stay in the present moment, and I think that's about it. Oh, all the decks that I read are in the description box below, under those links that I recommend you check. Otherwise, let's do this. Be here now, air sign. Take a nice deep breath. Yeah, I am doing this on a Sunday, just afternoon now. Don't know when these will hit. The internet Sundays can be weird days for uploads, but we'll see how this goes as I now turn to and tune to my collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. Please, I need 3 cards. Count them, 3 cards for this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign in this happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, satisfying soulmate contract. Those are the ones we're looking at, not about your family or your friends or your work, right? I need one for the Divine Feminine, Party A, one for the Divine Masculine, Party B, and one for the overall contract, which we will see in the preview and in the extended. So what have we got for the Divine Feminine? Here we go. I felt that for the Divine Feminine. That's her dominant archetype, the soul power that she's dealing with. With the Divine Masculine, who we got? Nope, just one. I get we all have more than one archetype in play in any contract at any time. Sometimes we can have all 12 firing. There's our Divine Masculine, and please one for the overall Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, satisfying soulmate contract. November 2020 or timeless, please. The dominant one, I have no idea what it is, and it will stay up at the top, so there's no chance of me moving it, even touching it. All right, now, archetype cards. Carolyn May's brilliant deck. I really use it more as a healing system. It's only been since I've started doing readings. Well, I would bring them into my private reads face-to-face with people if it was necessary. But they've played a major role here. Because, wow, okay. This is great. This is actually, you're going to like this. Although the shadow sides are still toxic, the shadow attributes listed on these cards are what you're helping each other heal. As you heal, you're helping the other one heal through the quantum entanglement of a soulmate contract. So whether you know each other or not, whether you're together or not, whether you're committed, whether you hate each other's guts, that happens in soulmate contracts too. It's not all hearts and flowers 24/7. It's just not. You're helping each other heal. So stuff comes up in order to be healed in the contract, but you always return it to love. That said, we have got the divine feminine liberator archetype, right? A divine feminine with the liberator archetype. And in this time that we are in, that is so key, right? What's being liberated and how, but then again, the shadow side, incredibly toxic. The divine masculine has the servant archetype, which interestingly enough is of the healing family of archetypes. So you have the action family and the healing family of archetype. Now I will say, being a Virgo, we are the servants of the zodiac. I know this is an Aquarian read, but I find this very, very interesting. The interplay, because a liberator and a servant together, the thing about these romantic soulmate contracts is they've taken thousands of years to develop to the point where they are now, right? Thinking reincarnation, you keep coming in with the same souls over and over in all these different scenarios, trying to work it out, trying to always return it to love, and sometimes you do and sometimes you don't, but you have to admit, compared to family relationships or work relationships or friends, they are the most challenging, they're the most intimate, where we are our most vulnerable. So them coming together now in this time makes sense because the world is transforming. It's infusing all this love into the individual nervous systems of our divine feminine, divine masculine, regardless of the sign. Then in the contract, they're helping each other heal as that happens, known or unknown, whether they're together or apart. And then that is infecting, horrible word, but changing the quantum field. This is part of the Great Awakening. Infusing a type of love that has struggled from lead to gold over centuries. Let's read these. The divine feminine has the liberator archetype, the shadow attribute, imposing your tyranny over those you claim to liberate, right? I have set you free, now do as I say. Well, I've been there. We've had moments that I have the liberator archetype in my my second wheel of archetypes, ignoring legitimate constraints, right? Now, I've said this before. If somebody's a recovering alcoholic and you're having a party, like, come on, drink, lighten up. It's like, no. No. Bad action. Bad liberator, right? Lead liberator. Carburetor. The light attribute, though, is just absolutely perfect for where we are in human history right now. Freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs. Bang, right? Total element of air. Ideas and beliefs are element of air. You are an air sign. So if this is you, this is what you're leaning toward, or what the soulmate contract is helping you become. More of this soul power developed. Releasing negative thought patterns, right? So the divine feminine really has some massive self-healing going on here, as well as obviously going to be liberating others as she breaks chains of illusion for herself. Remember, I say herself, himself, because otherwise my brain implodes. With that liberator archetype, we're really looking at someone here that as she heals, right, not only will the others around her heal if they are so inspired and it's their time to, but definitely going to quantumly help this divine masculine servant, the shadow attribute, using lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life. I mean, I get that on planet Earth. These are very relevant to 2020 in general, not just November or timeless, right? So, it's like, well, I want to move on, but I don't have the money, like an indentured servant, right? The light attribute, delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. Now, imagine this one really serving this one with a light and a bright, a free and loving heart, and this one liberating this one from outmoded ideas and beliefs. What a power couple. Dig it. I'm into it. I bet the sex is good. I just have a feeling. Lovely. Lots of chit chat too, I bet. We're going to take 5 Daughters of the Moon Tarot and 5 Mythic Tarot to do element spreads, 1 for the divine feminine, fire, earth, air, water, spirit, 1 for the divine masculine, the same. I'll call these out, the positions as I go, what they mean. If you're new to the channel, I love these spreads. I used to do these in the bars in Boston during the 80s. It was a wild time. Breathe. My goddesses, Athena in particular, and yes, Athena, thank you for protecting me through those times. I learned a lot. Please, 5 cards in clarity for the Divine Feminine with this Liberator archetype in this Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, satisfying soulmate contract with this Divine Masculine servant, element of fire. What does she want in this contract, November 2020, or timeless? What is her element of earth, the fuel that feeds the fire to help her get her heart's desire? What is her element of air, the predominant thoughts about this, which obviously are going to affect that flame, how air affects fire, obviously. Element of water, what is her predominant feelings about this soulmate contract with this Divine Masculine, with the servant archetype? And finally, in this side of the table, most important card, the card of Spirit. What is the voice or the point of view of the soul for this Divine Feminine with the Liberator archetype? The soul that was chosen to incarnate and play this role. What's their voice, their point of view in this Aquarian collective? A little undecided. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, satisfying contract. Thank you. All right, we're just going to go right in and do the same for the Divine Masculine. I will flip them over together, element by element. Breathe. My gods of air and Aquarius, Heracles in particular, oh great laborer, demigod restoring his full divinity. I need 5 cards in clarity, as you know. For this Divine Masculine servant archetype, I should say Divine Masculine with the servant archetype, in this happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, satisfying Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign soulmate contract, November 2020 or timeless. We're ready. Please, element of fire, what is it that he desires in this contract? Element of earth, what is the fuel? What is the fuel that feeds that fire to help him get his heart's desire? His element of air, predominant thought about this contract. Element of water, predominant feelings and emotions. It's a little annoying beepy thing. Thank you. Witchcraft. And lastly, the most important, the card of Spirit. The point of view of the soul that was chosen to incarnate and play this role and fulfill this Divine Masculine aspect of this contract, November 2020 or timeless. All right, here we go. Enough chit chat. Let's get into these two. What do they want? Okay, well, it's interesting. I don't think it's bad, but it's interesting. She wants the world, the universe, Shakti the life dancer, the ending of a cycle, or at least the happy completion of one, right? To kind of move into that new world. Not the Fool, not an ace. We'll see what she's got, the element of earth there to help her get this, but it might be even to bump this to a new level, but definitely completing one part of the cycle. Now, this might be something going on in her life that would seem tangential to this contract, perhaps, but I'm not getting that. I do feel like that there's something here about, can we liberate ourselves from the past and move over? We are, after all, in a whole new world. Jumping timelines like crickets. He's got the 7 of Swords, so he wants to keep this on the sneaky. There's a strategy here, and the light or the shadow. I feel like if this is really, if this servant archetype, it feels like I'll do whatever I can to serve this, right? In the light, at least that's what they want. In the shadow, it might be like, well, I got to do it. Oh, but I got to sneak around. Look, if these two are in relationships with other people, I'm going to tell you something right now. When it comes to money, rich people can get away with having their affairs in public and nobody blinks a fucking eye, or at least they never used to. Social media. But someone who is, I don't want to just say poor, but struggling financially, it doesn't go that way. It can really destroy them. Isn't that funny how financial inequality, even, well, it's second chakra stuff, right? Money and sexuality and creativity. So if there is a financial issue here, and I say that because the shadow attribute, using a lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life, well, that could mean that they're in a relationship that they can't get out of because of financial means and concerns, could mean that, right? And so they want to be really clandestine and sneaky and maybe have a strategy. Now, that doesn't mean these two aren't meant to be together. That could play itself out like, I can't, my job. And I mean, I get it. It's 2020, right? So, I mean, I feel like the Liberator would understand that. But maybe wanting to turn the cycle, right? To move into the next. So what do they have? Their element of Earth. Well, Divine Feminine's got the Ten of Cups. She in love with this one. This can't be where they don't know each other. They have to know each other to have this kind of emotion in the element of Earth. I mean, this is viscerally feeling it. So she's been liberating herself emotionally in some way, shape, or form. It'll be interesting to see what her element of water is. He's got the Three of Pentacles, building himself back up. He's building himself back up. That it's a 3, it's not a 10, it's not all the way home, but it's certainly on the road there, right? Shoes are on, right direction, headed there. Yes, a solid foundation. And it does feel like a collaboration, that these two could very much be in cahoots. I hate to say that, only if like there are other spouses, partners, boyfriends, girlfriends, lovers involved here, right? Because of that Seven of Swords. So she might want to be like, can we liberate ourselves from this not being together? Like, it's horrible, double negative. Can we like wrap this thing up and be together and start our lives together? It could be that. That Ten of Cups, I mean, their kisses, their touches. Like I said, I felt there's something very electric, boogie oogie oogie, about these two sexually, physically. And honestly, with the Three of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups, it does kind of show that, but it's still building, right? It's still going. So, what do they think in you air signs, you sneaky air signs? Well, this can have a lot of different meanings, and I like the one I'm picking up on. She has got, you know, the Five of Flames. So in her mind, yeah, one would think of that as the conflict. And this is Pele, the volcano. Yeah, go read some of the legends of Pele. They're fun. I mean, when you take rocks from her, don't take stuff. I've never been, and I want to, but I won't. Believe me, I'll even dust off my shoes afterwards. So don't piss off a volcano goddess. But that's the thing. This could be about Kundalini, right? The conflict that they're not together. Like, I don't feel like they're together. I don't feel like they're together, and what they're on their mind now. This isn't necessarily conflict. There's another card in this deck, the 4, that is conflict. This is about something, power, will, desire, that's been building up over time and finally explodes. Could this be about an argument they had? Maybe, but there are other cards in this deck that say that a lot clearer. This could be a Kundalini rush, like maybe they're thinking about the, really, if you want to say, it's like an orgasm, right? It builds up, explodes on their mind. In other words, I'm going to say there is a sexual connotation here, a vibe on it. It may not be for everybody. Otherwise, there's real anger brewing, right? Passion, anger, sexual, like all that fire stuff in the second and third chakra. I get it. It's building up. That this might be frustration, but the balance, there's more water than fire here. I'm going to say, at least so far. He's got the Nine of Cups. He's in love too. Maybe not all the way there, not the 10. They're not together. I'm telling you they're not together, but she was always on his mind. Someone left it on the porch. I'm sorry, I am a practical magic. Altered DNA. That movie altered me. Biochemically and psychically. So look, they love each other. There is great passion here. The sex is amazing. It must be electric. Boogie, oogie, oogie. And just feels really, really lovely. And you know, I'm going to say, in terms of sexual dynamic, and I usually don't do this, but when I see it, I see it. It feels like this divine masculine may not be, as a servant, may be a little bit more sexually submissive and wanting to serve, and the liberator not wanting to humiliate, but to uplift. You know, the stuff you see in cards sometimes, that's rare. Anybody who watches, comment, is like, how often do I mention stuff like that? Never, never, never. There are other channels that do that just fine, but I am a Virgo. What are they feeling? This is where it gets tricky. The Divine Feminine has the Four of Blades in this deck called Deception. Now I know if you're new to my channel, that card looks an awful lot like the Two of Flames, but there are two of Blades, sorry, the Two of Swords. But underneath her, on that hard bench she is sitting on, are two crossed swords. She does not see, plus she's blindfolded anyway. So this can be about this deception that's going on, right? She's thinking about it. She's really thinking about, let me show you how she feels about this strategy. You know, a liberator is going to want to free themselves from deceptions first, right? That's how can you help someone embrace a shadow or release an illusion if you haven't yourself, right? So there's a real, this is where the party turns a little somber. He's got the Queen of Wands, so there is no question the fixed fire Leo energy going on here. I'm going to say emotionally and viscerally physically. I'm going to say sexually. There's a very strong sexual bond here. 9 of Cups. I mean, I get why he wants to do the sneaky sneakies here. I mean, he's building his thing. I mean, this doesn't necessarily have to mean clandestine meetings, but there's definitely, he wants a strategy here. He wants that 7 of Swords. And she just like, can we just get on with this, right? But there's something there about the deception. And maybe for, well, maybe that's a larger percentage than I think. This is maybe half and half. Some of you are like, am I deceiving myself here? I mean, the 10 of Cups is there. Like, emotionally, you are there. But what's in your element of water, your emotions, are the 4 of Blades, 4 of Swords. And I will say, also a card that indicates rest and internal focus, to focus on what you're feeling. Maybe not to act on this right away. Although, in the mind, right? If that is frustration, don't let your shadows take over. Embrace them, just don't act on them, right? And with that Queen of Wands there, I really feel like he just wants to snuggle up, you know, like do that feline thing. Very tactile, very, very tactile. Let's keep going. Ooh, most important card for both of them. The Spirit, the card of the soul. Well, interesting. I think I see a trend here. The soul is saying hermit time, girl. Pull up, pull in, pull back. See things. Don't have to break off communication. If you're not in communication, moot point. But if you are in communication, I don't feel like that's a problem. But this needs time. The emotion is high for both of them. The emotion is high for her, but so is the passion. And some of that passion blocked might come out as anger, rage, and wrath. Just saying. So there may be a delusion going on emotionally, something having to do with the past, certainly, that has nothing to do with this one, and that, you know, that's going to be true in a lot of our situations in life, not just in romantic relationships. But my vibe here is saying she really needs to pull back, because he's got the Knight of Swords, the Sagittarius energy, getting more and more and more inspired. Now, I will say, predominantly, in terms of elements, maybe, there's definitely more masculine energy, more yang on this side of the table. The Divine Feminine might not be so sure about being entrapped in something that she might not have any control over in terms of this 7 of Swords deception. You know what? I'm already doing the overview. Let me pop up the cards. I'll show you what else I see. Magic clap. Okay. The Divine Feminine, with the Liberator archetype, shadow attribute, imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints. Well, and that's the thing. I don't think she's ignoring legitimate constraints. If she's got that frustration in the air, in her position of air, and that 4 of Swords, really, really thinking about the deception aspect, but how it feels, maybe searching her intuition, right? The Light attribute, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. And you know what? That very well, releasing the negative thought patterns could be very much what's going on in her element of water too. So it's all part of it. And it's all necessary. What she wants is Shakti, the life dancer, the card of the world, the card of the universe, last card of the major arcana. So really wanting a completion of this phase of it. I don't feel like they're together. I feel like she wants them to be very much, right? There's a major arcana card. And what she has to do that is to feel what she's feeling, the 10 of Cups. But of course, that is going to bring up negative thought patterns, right? It's sort of like washing all that stuff to the surface. Love brings up its opposite, Course in Miracles. And it says the opposite of love is fear, because what is all-encompassing? You truly have no opposite. In other words, fear is an absence or an illusion, not truly what love is. So there's a lot of love here, a lot of emotion, a lot of ecstasy. I mean, it's written on the card. So I do feel like the emotional sexual part is very intense for this one. But with that 5 of flames, right? this is definitely something that has to play itself out mentally. There could be a lot of sexual frustration here. There could be, but you know, you're helping each other heal. So the internal work that they do while they are away from each other is literally accelerating the path of them coming together. But you can't push that. You can't force that. It's a volcano as is, right? So that stuff, the releasing negative thought patterns, obviously that is potential there. But do keep in mind, and I always say this when I see a volcano in some imagery, when I read, is that volcanic ash is the most mineral-rich substance on the planet, which is why volcanic islands are usually so abundant and fruitful with fruits and flowers and, you know, just green everywhere. So this might pave way for something that they both really seem to want. Now, again, with that card of the deception there and the emotions, there might be an internal focus towards that, but she needs to liberate herself, right? Take off that blindfold. But the only way the soul seems to be communicating right now is to do it as the Hermit, the horse actually going in the opposite direction from the Divine Masculine, to go within, not necessarily to walk away forever. I don't feel that that's going to go down, but to really go deeper in and higher up, right? Further in and higher up, to see things from the soul's perspective, that this is a time of self-healing and perhaps a time of isolation, but it needs to be done willingly. Right? It needs to be done with the energy of liberation. Jumping over to the Divine Masculine, Servant, the shadow attribute, using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life, which, come on, we've all done that, right? Well, I would love to go, but I just can't. That's different than just moving on in life, right? So the light attribute, a delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. I mean, that's so joyful to be around in a healing family archetype. So that's what strikes me as a little odd here with the Seven of Swords, but not really, right? If they're using a lack of money as an excuse not to be out in the open with this, right? Not to be overt rather than covert. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's a real honor thing going on here, and in place for healing for this Divine Masculine Servant for sure. But with the Three of Pentacles, it's like, I get that there's real work being done here. There really is a foundation being laid. There is a plan in play, but maybe just needs to keep it secret. You know, for whatever reason, like it might not be a third person, but it might be a third party in terms of like family, right? Or work or something where they have to keep this on the down low for whatever reason. But if there are other people involved, either or both sides here, be very careful. But the Nine of Cups is there. Like, he's just wishing for this to happen. There's so much emotional fulfillment. She's really feeling it more. He's thinking about it more. So obviously he was touched by that, right? That he has experienced some emotional connection here, which definitely leads me to say these two have to have known each other for a while. I mean, that Nine of Cups, that wish fulfillment, yes, could be purely fantasy, but he's working towards it, right? A little clandestine, but working towards it. And in his emotions, the Queen of Wands, there is that Leo loyalty. There is that fun, that feminine fire, right? Fixed fire, creativity, sexuality, good fortune here. Really feeling warm, snuggly, warm, want to scruff you by the neck and take you kind of vibe. Meow. And with that Nine of Wands, right, that does play itself out. That, you know, it feels like these two are going to play a little cat and mouse, particularly with the Leo card there. Though she may be going within herself, I don't feel like there's an end of communication here. Or end of contact. What I do feel like is that he's going to pursue her with that Knight of Wands to expand his energy, his fire, his connection in some way, shape, or form, or at least that's the message of the soul. And that could be as well about looking at his own desires, right? Fanning the flames in a way, mutable fire, Sagittarius, to really prepare himself for the next phase of action in this contract. Here we have it. Interesting read. Again, it's going to play itself out differently for different people. But you got your 12 cards. The 13th we will turn over in the preview, which you'll see in a couple of minutes. Otherwise, may the Sagittarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need in this happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, satisfying soulmate contract involving this Divine Feminine Liberator and this Divine Masculine Servant with those archetypes. November 2020 are timeless, that they may heal, that they may grow, right? That they may feel what they need to feel and be brought together under grace and in perfect ways for their well-being and for the well-being of all. So would it be. And so it is. Thank you so very much for watching, and please do like, subscribe. Like, if you like the video, if it clicked for you, hit the like button. No one will know, right? If you like how I read and you want to follow along and help me get my goal, please do hit the subscribe button so I can get that membership thing. It's going to be fun. And it's inevitable. It's just I'd rather sooner than later, but I'm a Virgo. I'll get there. You get it. The preview is coming up next. Otherwise, wishing you all the very best and the very blessed in this happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, satisfying soulmate contract, November 2020, or timeless, my aquariums. Hail. Farewell, and blessed, blessed be. Aquarian Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Thank you for hanging out for the preview and or jumping over to Vimeo.com for the extended reading in this timeless soulmate contract. And I do feel like there is something timeless about this. I do feel like, I mean, not just in the sense of when you watch this, but the sense of there have always been liberators who have been teamed with servants to make things happen. Putting them together in a romantic sexual context, though, it's tricky because it feels like whatever situation this divine masculine may be in here in service in some way, maybe to another person, a family member or a family, right, whatever, is trying to help them liberate them, right, and the servant wants to serve them. So it feels very soulmate contract, very helping each other heal, for sure, particularly with the healer archetype on the table. So what I'm doing is just getting the Healing with the Angels Oracle card deck ready. That'll be the second card we turn down, because first we are going to look at the dominant archetype for this Aquarian Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, satisfying contract. You got the storyteller. Ooh, watch out. Watch out. The light is brilliant, but the dark is really toxic. The shadow attribute, making up stories that harm others. And I feel like that's a part of this. Be careful. Be careful. Sometimes the harm you do creates hurts for decades, right? So I feel like this is something they have discussed. It's part of a strategy. I don't think she likes it. I think it's sitting like lead in her stomach. So now let's look at the light. This is what you're helping each other heal. Ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. To say, look, honey, this is our story. This is a hero's journey. This is the path of true love, or at least an aspect of, right? A leg of it. If you guys can both look at the contract itself, that the story, like any story, has a beginning, a middle, and an end, but also a chapter, right? Think of it as a chapter, not the beginning, middle, and end of the contract forever and evermore, but what you're going through right now, it's like the stories that are told. Now, I'm glad this isn't the gossip archetype. That card is in this deck. But with the storyteller, we're really looking at a dynamic of be very, very careful of the stories you tell yourselves, as well as the stories that you tell each other. I would really try and keep it in an Aquarian point of view, as in larger picture. Like, what is the name of the story? Now, I could talk about this for hours, and I do in other places. But sometimes to acknowledge, oh my God, I'm Cinderella in this thing. We might have a Cinderella divine masculine here, right? And the Liberator could very well be the fairy godmother, right? You can see that so many different ways through so many different lenses. So look to your stories, right? Once upon a time it. Once upon a time it. I like that. I really loved that show. That last season I couldn't get into, but, you know, Team Regina. Why wouldn't I? Queen archetype. God bless her. Goddess bless her. Okay, so we've got the storyteller archetype. Let's keep building. We're going to use, as I said, the Healing with the Angels Oracle by Doreen Virtue to see what angel is in charge of, assigned to this contract that either one of you can call upon, act on. And again, it's a healing angel oracle, so we'll help you heal, and through the quantum entanglement of soulmate contract, help your partner heal. Breathe.